Hello friends! Welcome to another video here in Manga and Comics Chronicles. This time we are going to analyze Ready Player One movie. So let's start. Ready Player Ingalls. In the year 2045, in the Columbus Towers, Wade lives with his Aunt Alice and her boyfriend, Rick, in a low-income community made up of precariously stacked trailers. As he leaves home, he sees his neighbors immersing themselves in virtual simulations. People survive their problems instead of trying to solve them like millions of others. Wade takes refuge in the Oasis, a virtual world where anything is possible. While hiding an old van, Wade accesses the Oasis using a visor and haptic gloves. In this virtual world, users enter as avatars to play, entertain themselves, and explore possibilities they don't have in real life. It's a place where imagination has no limits. You can be whoever you want and do whatever you desire. Although people come for what they can do, they stay for what they can become. The Oasis is both a massive multiplayer, role-playing game and a virtual society with the most stable currency in the world. If your avatar dies, you can respawn, but you lose everything you've accumulated. Money, clothes, weapons. In this world, Wade's avatar is named Parzival. Although he has never met his friends in person, he frequently interacts with H, a muscular mechanic he considers his best friend, as well as the samurai Dato and the fighter Shoto. The Oasis was created in 2025 by Halliday and Morrow. Over time, Morrow lost relevance and Halliday became an almost divine figure, adored by everyone. Halliday died in 2040, but he left behind a contest after his death. His company released a video where, using his avatar, Anorak the Wise, he explained the challenge. He had hidden an Easter egg in the Oasis. To find it, participants must overcome 3 challenges. Each challenge grants a key and a clue to the next one. Whoever obtains the 3 keys and the egg will inherit $500 billion and control of the Oasis. Wade searches for the egg mostly on his own, although many hunters, called Gunters, form teams like the Sixers from Innovative Online Industries IOI. The CEO of IOI, Nolan Sorrento, profits from products and equipment that give advantages within the Oasis. His main goal in finding the egg is to take control of the Oasis to impose a monthly fee on users and introduce advertising. The company even has Halliday experts dedicated to studying the pop culture that fascinated the creator, searching for clues. The search has been going on for 5 years, but no one has found the first key. The only known clue is the first challenge, a race in a simulation of New York. Wade and H participate. Again, while others use race cars, Wade drives a DeLorean from the movie Back to the Future. Before starting, Wade notices a racer on a motorcycle who intrigues him. At the start, several players are eliminated. H, being a mechanic, uses his upgraded truck to crush other competitors. However, Kong the giant gorilla destroys the road, preventing H from finishing. Despite this, he encourages Wade, who finds another route and gets closer to the finish line. However, Kong destroys the final stretch to block the path. Artemis, the motorcyclist, attempts to jump over the broken road, but Wade stops her. Noticing that Kong is hiding as a trap, Kong appears and destroys Artemis's motorcycle. No one manages to overcome the challenge. Afterward, Wade convinces H to help Artemis repair her motorcycle for the next race. Meanwhile, Wade and Artemis talk about Halliday, his favorite phrases, and the race. Wade explains that he stopped because he believes no one can pass Kong as it's a rule. But Artemis points out that Halliday hated rules. Wade comments that if he wins, He would buy cool things and wouldn't be poor anymore. However, Artemis questions him and warns that if his motivation is just money, Sorrento could bribe him and take control of the Oasis. According to Artemis, a true gunner would risk everything to save the Oasis from IOI. Wade disconnects and in the real world reflects on Artemis's words. Using his visor, he enters Halliday's journal in the Oasis, a place that stores his mind and memories. With the help of the curator, Wade observes a memory where Halliday and Morrow argue about the future of their creation. Morrow believed things had changed and that it was time to evolve. He argued that the game they created was no longer just a game and that it needed rules. Halliday, on the other hand, responded that he hated rules and wished he could go back to when their creation was just a game. This conversation gives Wade an idea. The next day, Wade returns to the first challenge. While others move forward, he puts his DeLorean in reverse, discovering an underground path that takes him beneath the track. Overcoming obstacles and calm, he finally reaches the finish line, where Anorak gives him the copper key, 100,000 coins, and a clue. His avatar, Parzival, appears in first place on the leaderboard. Each of Halliday's challenges seems designed to convey an important lesson born from the regrets of his own life. These lessons are keys that the winning user must understand to succeed. Halliday seems to want whoever takes his place to understand him, and more importantly, to do things differently. By analyzing the discussion between Halliday and Morrow, along with the solution to the first challenge, the first lesson is revealed, which is quite relevant. Progress doesn't always mean moving forward. In our culture, we often associate progress with more speed, more production, more consumption. We believe that moving forward is synonymous with building more things, spending more resources, and accumulating more. But what if true progress isn't about more, but about less? What if moving forward actually means stopping, taking a step back, or even retracing our steps to see things from a different perspective? We live in a world that constantly pushes us to go faster, consume more, and do more. That's why I think Halliday's lesson is more relevant than ever. Progress isn't necessarily about accumulation, but about reflection. It's about asking ourselves if the path we're following is truly leading us to a destination worth reaching. IOI's board expresses their concern about Parzival to Sorrento, but he doesn't seem worried. Still, he enters the Oasis, meets the bounty hunter Ibar-0K, and obtains the Orb of Osavox, a powerful artifact. He also hires Ibar-0K to monitor and eliminate Parzival in the Oasis. Meanwhile, Wade spends his prize on impulsive purchases, acquiring the Semyon Cube of Grenade and the X1 suit, which allows him to feel everything that happens in the Oasis. He then shares the secret of the race with H, who tells Dato, and Dato tells Shoto. Artemis also deduces it after seeing Wade drive in reverse, placing all 5 of them among the top leaders. Later, Wade reflects on the clues for the second challenge, which are related to forgetting the past and a leap not taken. While reviewing some photos, he suspects they might refer to Kira, Morrow's wife, who died of cancer. To confirm his theory, he visits Halliday's journal, surrounded by fans, until Artemis arrives and helps him disguise himself. Together, they review recordings and discover that Sorrento was Halliday's intern and was looking for ways to profit from users. In another recording, Halliday mentions a date with Kira where, instead of dancing, they went to the movies. Kira later married Morrow, his partner. Wade notices that this is the only time her name is mentioned in the journal. The curator confirms Wade's analysis and hands him a 25-cent coin. Artemis invites him to dance later at the Distracted Globe, a club inspired by Halliday's date with Kira. That night, Wade decides to dress as Buckaroo Banzai, his favorite character, and arrives at the club where he is greeted by fans. Artemis surprises him on the zero-gravity dance floor, and they dance to disco music. Wade, wearing the X1 suit, feels Artemis through the simulation and confesses his feelings, suggesting they meet in person. Artemis declines, fearing she might disappoint him. But Wade insists and reveals his real name. Unbeknownst to them, Ivar Zero K overhears the conversation. IOI agents storm the party to eliminate Wade, but he and Artemis manage to escape using the Semyon Cube, which rewinds time by 60 seconds. Safe for the moment, Artemis tells Wade that she is determined to stop IOI. She reveals that her father died in one of the company's loyalty centers while trying to pay off his debt for equipment. He never succeeded due to rising costs, fell ill, and died trapped. Artemis says she can't afford distractions in her mission to find the egg and leaves Wade. Meanwhile, IR0K investigates Wade and provides Sorrento with his complete profile. Sorrento tasks Sandor, one of his associates, with eliminating Wade in real life. The next day, Sorrento contacts Wade and offers him $25 million to help IOI find the egg. Wade, sensing his true intentions, rejects the offer. Before leaving, Sorrento warns Wade that he knows where he lives and threatens to destroy his home. Wade rushes to warn his aunt and her boyfriend, but he is too late. The stack of trailers where they lived explodes. Wade is knocked out and captured by a tattooed man. He wakes up with his hands tied and discovers that Samantha, whose avatar is Artemis, is behind it. The movie is set in a world where the future seems dead, and people take refuge in a virtual world that recreates the past. This is a perfect context to explore the concept of hauntology, a term originally coined by French philosopher Jacques Derrida and later expanded by Mark Fisher. In broad terms, hauntology refers to the idea that the present is haunted by the ghosts of futures that never arrived. It's as if your partner gave you an object before dying. That object wouldn't just represent your loved one, but also the lost future you once imagined together. The term hauntology plays with words to reflect this idea. The H is silent, so in French, the word sounds like ontology, which is the study of being and what exists. However, the H marks a fundamental difference. It is present even if unspoken, symbolizing what is absent but still affects us like a ghost. Mark Fisher applies this concept to our contemporary culture, arguing that we live in a time where the futures the past taught us to anticipate never materialized. This has left our culture, according to Fisher, haunted by the ghosts of those lost possibilities. Instead of imagining a different future, we remain trapped in a cycle that constantly recycles the past. We see this phenomenon in music, film, and television, where what is new often feels strangely familiar. This framework helps us better understand the story of this movie. Wade's generation is a hopeless one that has given up on changing its reality. Cities are in ruins, inequality is devastating, and people have stopped fighting. As Wade explained, people no longer try to solve problems. They simply survive. The loss of the future has hit so hard that they are no longer able to imagine a world different from the one they know. In a place without a clear vision of tomorrow, the virtual world of the Oasis becomes an escape, but not toward something new, but toward the past. The Oasis is a space where, in theory, everything is possible, where you can be whoever you want. But it is filled with characters, objects, settings, and references from the past, especially the 1980s. This obsession with the old reflects a lack of imagination and creativity. Instead of inventing something new, people cling to an idealized past because, in some way, they feel that the future is dead. The DeLorean that Wade drives, taken from the movie Back to the Future, is a perfect symbol of this idea. In the Oasis, returning to the 80s is an attempt to revive that future that was once believed possible but never arrived. However, this obsession with the past comes at a cost. While people lose themselves in the virtual escape, the real world continues to deteriorate, and it's not so different from what we experience today. Many of us turn to distractions to avoid facing the personal and collective challenges the real world presents. But escaping doesn't change anything. While we continue to evade structural problems, corruption, inequality, the climate crisis, they not only persist but worsen. It's easier to flee than to confront such a discouraging reality. But this evasion only fuels a cycle of inaction. Fisher would say that this is the true struggle of our time. To leave nostalgia behind and dare to imagine a future not trapped by the ghosts of the past. Samantha takes Wade to a rooftop operations base. Samantha shares her mission with Wade, though she feels insecure about a birthmark on her face. Wade assures her that her appearance in real life doesn't disappoint him. Just before they kiss, Samantha has an idea about the second challenge. Artemis concludes that the leap not taken refers to Halliday not kissing Kira when he had the chance. The group returns to the Oasis and explores Halliday's journals to investigate the movies he might have watched with Kira on their date. The clue leads them to The Shining, and the curator guides them to the Overlook Hotel. They search for the key somewhere in the hotel. H, who hasn't seen The Shining, has no idea what awaits him. He separates from the group for a moment and encounters the twins and the naked woman, who turns into a terrifying old woman. When they hear music in the ballroom, they begin to doubt if there really is a key in the movie set. Artemis realizes that Halliday's greatest fear isn't the film or the books, but his fear of kissing a girl, the leap he never dared to take. In the ballroom, they find Kira dancing with zombies over an abyss. Artemis takes the leap into the void, causing the rest of the group to exit the movie. After overcoming the zombies, she invites Kira to dance. Anorak appears and gives her the second key, the Jade Key, which the others soon receive as well. The second lesson Halliday seems to want to convey is that fear makes us lose opportunities. That same fear paralyzed him, and he never dared to take the leap with Kira, instead of confronting his pain and learning from it. He created the Oasis to escape his frustration with reality, but his escape wasn't temporary. It was total, and that only led him to lose even more. Fear sometimes pushes us to hide, to take refuge in distractions instead of acting. However, hiding doesn't solve anything. If we truly want something different in our lives, we can't cling to the past or let fear decide for us. We have to let go of that weight, dare to imagine a different future, and take the leap to build it. This applies both personally and collectively. On an individual level, we must leave behind the distractions we use to avoid facing the harshest and most painful parts of our reality. Instead of escaping, it's necessary to take action, confront what hurts us, and create a different future for ourselves. On a collective level, as a society, we can't remain trapped in distractions or idealizing a past that no longer exists. If we want real change, we must face the problems around us and work to build a more just and sustainable future. How can we move forward if we're anchored to the past? How can we generate new ideas, connections, or beginnings if we keep living in the echoes of what once was? The truth is, when we try to escape a trap, whether it's fear, pain, or a difficult reality, without confronting it head-on, we often end up creating another trap, perhaps even bigger and harder to overcome. Meanwhile, Sorrento discovers that Wade is still alive and informs Sandor about the tattooed man who helped him escape. Sandor tracks him down to the operations center where Wade and Samantha are discussing the final clue. IOI agents storm the place, and Samantha sacrifices herself so Wade can escape. She is captured and taken to the IOI Loyalty Center, where she will have to work to pay off her debts. Wade meets a woman named Helen, who turns out to be H in the Oasis. Together, they hide in a van, where he also meets Toshiro and Exo, who are Dato and Shoto in the virtual world. Meanwhile, IOI deciphers the third challenge, which leads them to Anorak's castle on the planet Doom, the most dangerous place in the Oasis. The final challenge consists of an Atari 2600, where only one game can unlock the last key. Sorrento activates the Orb of Osavox, creating a force field that blocks access to the castle and orders Loyalty Center workers, including Samantha, to plant explosives at the main entrance. On the other hand, Wade tells H what he remembers from Sorrento's office, and together they create a digital replica of the office. They intercept Sorrento's online transmission just before he leaves the Oasis. Sorrento falls into the trap, believing he has returned to his office. Wade and Toshiro confront him, forcing him to reveal Samantha's location, which allows them to free her. However, Samantha decides to stay in the facility, disguised as an IY soldier, to deactivate the orb's force field. Sorrento discovers the hack and, upon learning that Samantha escaped her cell, returns to the Oasis. Wade and his friends broadcast a live message from the Oasis, calling on players to join them against IY to save the Oasis. On the planet Doom, inspired by the call, many join the fight. While Samantha deactivates the force field, Sorrento appears in his Mechagodzilla suit. H activates the Iron Giant, and Dato transforms into Gundam to face him, but they fail to defeat him. Finally, the Iron Giant brings Samantha close with a bomb, which she uses to destroy Sorrento's mech. Furious, Sorrento returns to the real world, convinced that Samantha is still in the facility, and begins searching for her. Realizing Samantha is in danger, Wade eliminates her avatar so she can escape. Samantha manages to leave the facility and reunites with the group in the van. Sorrento orders the explosives at the castle entrance to be detonated, destroying the passage. However, H's Iron Giant sacrifices itself to create a bridge, allowing Wade and Shoto to cross. Both reach the final challenge, where they watch a sixer-playing adventure. Although he wins, he doesn't receive the prize. Wade realizes the challenge isn't about winning, but about playing, and he knows what to do to obtain the final key. At that moment, Sorrento and Ibe R0K confront him with a final offer. Wade rejects it, and Sorrento threatens to activate the Cataclysm, a weapon that will destroy all avatars on the planet Doom. Wade tries to stop him, but Sorrento activates the device, eliminating all avatars. To everyone's surprise, Wade survives thanks to the coin the curator gave him, which was an extra life token. Wade begins playing Adventure, and his actions are broadcast live. The goal is to find the hidden Easter egg in the game, considered one of the first in video game history. Upon succeeding, the ice crystals break, revealing Anorak, who gives him the final crystal key. Wade heads to a vault with 3 locks, but IY forces locate H in his truck, complicating the situation. Wade then uses the broadcast to ask for help from anyone near the Columbus Towers. After several attempts, Wade opens the vault and discovers a castle filled with gold. As the spectators celebrate, Anorak offers him documents to sign, but Wade remembers how Halliday forced Moro to give up his shares, something he described as his biggest mistake. Refusing to repeat that story, Wade passes the test, and Anorak transforms into Halliday. The scene shifts to Halliday's childhood room, where he shows Wade a button that can erase the Oasis. Young Halliday appears playing a video game while the adult version confesses that he created the Oasis because he didn't know how to connect with people and was always afraid. Only when he knew he was going to die did he understand that, although terrifying, reality is the only real thing. Finally, he hands the golden egg to Wade. As Halliday says goodbye alongside his younger self, Wade asks, "Who are you?" Even though he's already died, but Halliday doesn't respond and leaves. The final lesson Halliday wanted to leave is perhaps the most important. Connecting with real people in the real world is far more valuable than anything you can do in a fantasy online world. That is the true prize Wade and his group find at the end of their journey. The human connections they build among themselves through the challenges. No matter how utopian the Oasis may seem, with all its infinite possibilities, it can never replace reality. Later, the group arrives at the towers, but Sorrento attacks them. Upon seeing Wade with the egg, Sorrento is stunned and surrenders. The police arrest Sorrento and Sandor. Moro approaches the truck, congratulates Wade, and asks him to sign for the prize. However, Wade interrupts to confess his love for Samantha and kisses her. Afterward, Wade insists on sharing the prize with his friends, to which Moro agrees. The group, known as the High Five, celebrates among the crowd. Moro hands Wade a coin, revealing that he was the curator and praising Wade's intuition in uncovering the connection with Kira. Although he wasn't supposed to give hints, he was impressed by Wade's insight and decided to give him a boost. Wade tells Moro that Halliday's greatest fear wasn't kissing Kira, but losing Moro, his only friend. The new owners of the Oasis hire Morrow as a consultant with a symbolic salary of 25 cents. They decide to eliminate the loyalty centers within the Oasis, forcing IY to shut down, and they turn off the platform on Tuesdays and Thursdays, following Halliday's advice to encourage people to connect more with the real world. In the end, Wade understood and applied Halliday's 3 lessons, which led him to victory. First, the Oasis was conceived as a game, but became a substitute for reality for millions of people. Wade realized that, in the end, it was necessary to take a step back to move forward. He decided to return the Oasis to its original purpose, to be a game, not an alternative to real life. Second, Wade also learned to free himself from the fears that held him back. Unlike Halliday, he dared to take the leap. He found love in Samantha, built real friendships, and finally, and perhaps most importantly, reconnected with the real world. As the new leader of the Oasis, Wade decided to shut down the system 2 days a week. It may seem insufficient for a world that has been hiding in this fantasy for so long, but it's a start. Perhaps those 2 days will force people to face reality, reconnect with it, and hopefully begin to transform it. Because at the end of the day, the things that truly matter, loving, hugging your loved ones, building something lasting, or simply kissing the love of your life, only happen in the real world. And those are the things that make life worth living, something no virtual world, no matter how perfect, can ever offer. Escaping to a false world will never be the way to confront a chaotic world. Fantasy can be a temporary refuge, a necessary breather, but never a substitute. We have the responsibility to care for our reality, invest in it, and strive to make it a place worth living for everyone. To you who made it to the end, thank you so much for watching the entire video. I also want to thank you for all your support and remind you that if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so now. It would really help me out, and it ensures you won't miss any of my videos. Until next time, see you in the next one.